Oh, interesting. I am starting to feel it, guys. Oh, I do it for you. I am not loving it. Hello and welcome back to another matcha taste test series where we try different matcha powders per your request and give you my honest review. Today we are on part 6 of this series. So if you're new to the series, you can check out the older videos. If there's a matcha you're curious about, we have probably tried it. We also have a tier video and I'll be updating that soon after this video. But it's been a while just because I'm trying to figure out the best system to do this. I'd also love to come up with a criteria that I could rank each matcha by, but generally we look at color, taste, price, smoothness, like the texture and how fine it is, and just overall impressions, whether or not I think it's worth purchasing. Matcha is a pretty expensive item, which is why I love to make these videos. If you're gonna buy one, I say buy a good one, buy one that you enjoy, but as always, remember that taste is subjective, and if there's a matcha that you enjoy, that's the most important thing. Also, I apologize that it's been a while since we made one of these videos. Truthfully, I've just been trying to figure out how we pick out which matcha brand to try. I try to go for brands that multiple people have requested because it gets a little disappointing when you spend so much money on not great matcha. For this video alone, we spent about $200 plus. We don't make them too often, but I try as we can. And today I'm really excited because we have some really fun brands that have been highly requested. We have Naoki Matcha, we have Matchaeologist, Anima Mundi, Blue Bottles Matcha, which has been a highly requested one, Shayna's Kitchen, Mighty Leaf, Marukyu Koyamen, and I think that's it. We have tried to do a EU, UK video, but a lot of them actually don't even ship to the US, so we're including one today that you're able to get over there, but TBD if we're ever gonna be able to do that video because it's just, like I said, it's price and the fact that they don't even ship here. Today, I won't be going over the basics of how to make matcha. If you need a video on that, I have some other ones on my YouTube channel, and you can also download my free matcha guide in the description box below. Click that link, it's a free download, and it'll tell you everything you need to know about matcha. Without further ado, let's go ahead and try our first matcha of the day. We're starting off with Matchaeologist. This is a brand that I have tried before. We have the Matsu blend. This one costs $24 per tin, or about $1.20 per gram. First impressions, the color actually doesn't look too bad. It's pretty vibrant, and the smell is pretty nice. I don't smell anything too bitter, and it has a fragrance, which is usually a good sign. Tea is usually very aromatic. We'll try it on its own first. Whoa. This is, whoa. This is a very umami tea. So there's always different flavor profiles between matcha, but this one is very umami. Very flavorful, powerful, bold. Ooh, the aftertaste is quite bitter. And it's pretty astringent, but I think this would be great maybe mixed with something because it would still cut through like milk or anything like that. It's just really quite bitter and leaves a very umami flavor in your mouth. So you have to be into that, I think, to enjoy this specific variety of matcha. Let's try it in a latte. Like I said, I think the color is actually quite nice. It is also quite smooth on the tongue. I didn't taste any grittiness. It tastes much better with milk. I think Matchaeologist would not be great to have Americano. This would be the type of matcha that would be best enjoyed with a lot of things added to it or mixed in, which isn't always terrible, but I think if you're looking to enjoy matcha pure and on its own, Americano style or even ceremonial style, this would be a little too bitter for my liking personally and very umami. So I personally would not buy this one again, but it is drinkable, especially with some plant milk. One thing I don't really love about this brand though is that with their social media photos, they Photoshop the colors and edit them to look very vibrant, almost this actually unrealistic green. And I think that's very misleading for the consumer. I remember a long time ago, they had sent me some matcha, and I'm talking like 5 years ago, and uploaded one of the videos that I had posted and edited the color, and I was really upset by that because I don't think it's fair to misrepresent your product. I think it's a little bit misleading when you see the color on Instagram. It doesn't even look real, but also if you're thinking that it's that vibrant and then you end up getting something that's a little bit more regular or normal looking, I think, yeah, that's just a big issue because color can typically be a pretty good indicator of the quality of a matcha. So that's just my personal gripe with them. But overall, it's not the worst. I could drink it if I had to, that's for sure. Pricing, I guess it's somewhat affordable, but the tin also feels very small. So if I had to drink it, I could. Would I buy it again? Probably not. They also have at least 6 different varieties of matcha available on their website. So it could just be a case of me picking the wrong one for me, but there's something for everyone. I think variety is kind of nice to offer sometimes. Next matcha we are trying is Blue Bottle. This one has been highly requested and I think very exciting. Blue Bottle is one of the few higher end coffee spots that actually does carry matcha, and in desperate times I have gone on there. They also have a hojicha latte, which I honestly prefer, but it looks like they are now selling their own matcha, which is quite exciting. I don't even know if it's the same stuff that they use at the cafe, but I would assume so. This one is priced at $30 or about $1 per gram. And first impression is the color is actually pretty decent. Kind of looks like a mid-tier matcha from first glance. Smell, not so strong. There's not a lot of fragrance to it. It does have a little bit of that grassy smell though. Okay, wow. This one is also quite bold. It has a strength to it. Like the flavor is immediately in your mouth, kind of attacks your mouth. It is similar to the experience of drinking that Matchaeologist one. Very smooth though. And it's got a little bit of that umami flavor as well. Not as bitter as the Matchaeologist actually. I think it's a little bit less bitter. The aftertaste gets a little bitter. It's just definitely not as potent as the Matchaeologist one, so not as umami, probably preferable for like the everyday matcha drinker. I think, whoa. As it sits in the mouth, I think the taste really lingers, but it kind of changes. It gets more bitter. It almost has like this, not chemical taste to it, but almost like a medicinal quality about it. I think this one will be really good with plant milk though, again. So let's give it a try like that. Ooh, yeah. I'm getting this flavor in the back of my throat. Like it has like some kind of medicinal taste somehow. Okay, I don't know. Let's keep going. Pretty nice color. I mean, this is kind of like your standard better cafe matcha that you see on social media and stuff like that. Oh, interesting. Once it's mixed into the milk, you actually don't really taste the matcha at all, but you do still get that lingering aftertaste in the back of your mouth. It takes some time to develop, but there's not a lot going on while you're drinking. But I think this is like the can drink category. It's not one that I need to spit out immediately. If I was really in need of a matcha and needed the convenience of getting it out somewhere, I could definitely drink this. So it's drinkable, not my personal favorite, not the worst, and definitely better than the first. This is Naoki matcha, highly requested by so many of you. Price for this one is $24 or about 60 cents per gram. Color, first impression, honestly today the colors have not been bad at all. So far the past two were also kind of similar, where it's like a mid-tier, decently vivid green, I would say. Not the best I've seen, but also not the worst. Smell, interesting. Smells like not really much at all. Not a very fragrant matcha. It does have a little hint of that kind of brown, yellowy color, but not too bad. Let's give it a taste on its own. Oh, interesting. So the last two have been saying it's a smooth mouthfeel. This one doesn't feel smooth. It almost kind of coats the mouth and you can kind of taste not the sediment, but the fact that it's a powder, if that makes sense. Because matcha, when you whisk it, it's suspending the powder into the water. So when it's smooth and finely milled, you don't really feel that you're drinking like a powder. This one, I feel like feels kind of chalky and dry in the mouth. Flavor-wise, I don't really taste much aside from bitterness, actually. Not as bitter as Matchaeologist again, I don't think, because it's missing that umami flavor profile that I think we had with the Matchaeologist. But yeah, like this would be really hard for me to drink Americano or on its own. So far though, not loving it. Like what is that flavor? I don't know. It almost tastes like an unripe persimmon in a way. Like it's got that, like it's astringent. That's what it is. I don't know. Okay, with milk, color not too bad, but I think the milk shows you what way the color of the matcha leans, and you can see that it's got kind of like a yellowier tint, I think, to it. Not bad though, but definitely a better color than like what you get at Starbucks. Yeah, it's funny. I don't really taste anything once the milk is added. It's giving nothing. I don't know, like where is the matcha? It's kind of tastes like milk with an aftertaste of bitterness. If I had to recommend, I guess I wouldn't. Probably wouldn't buy this one again. I think it is accessible because you can get this on Amazon, right? I'm not sure why this one's popular, but I just feel like a lot of people really are into this one. Yeah, I think for this price, this one's 24, right? I think at this price, there are definitely some better options available. So if price is the reason people really love this one, I would say definitely maybe try a different one. I would really probably not end up drinking this if I had to. Like, I probably wouldn't finish the glass if I got this at a cafe. Yeah, they do have a few blends. So again, maybe I'm not drinking the best blend, but this is kind of like the mid-tier price one. And Ippodo, for example, offers much, much better matcha at this price too. So yeah, this is a pass for me. Shayna's Kitchen. I am not familiar with Shayna, but this one was highly, highly recommended. Lots of people tagged me in this when she launched it, I think semi-recently. I don't know if she's a big matcha girly, but I will tell you the can is stunning. I think this one is heavy on the aesthetics, which I can always appreciate. I just love it when the quality of the matcha matches up to the aesthetics too. So hopefully we get a home run with all of that today. I am going to say the color right off the bat looks pretty freaking good. I think this might be the best color we've seen yet today, which is very shocking, but Also expected, because the price of this one is the most expensive one we're having today. This is $60 or about $2 per gram. Pretty up there. Smell is there. There's definitely a fragrance to it. Smells nice, doesn't smell too grassy or bitter. Yeah, I'm actually kind of really excited to try this one. Whoa, that is not what I expected at all. Okay, wow. I've been scammed. This one has that gritty mouthfeel. This is not a smooth mouthfeel. Color is not always an indicator of quality, as you can tell, because even though it looks beautiful, it's not really hitting. Whoa, very bitter right away in the mouth. Kind of sandy feeling. Can you try this like solo? It's like it wants to be umami, but instead it's like kind of bitter. But it's definitely not as smooth of a mouthfeel as even some of the other options that we've had, which have been much cheaper. So I think that's kind of something to consider. We do sift and whisk all of the matchas that we're trying today. Yeah, dang. That is, I think a lot of the money goes towards the packaging because this is very unique, probably custom tin. But that being said, I don't think this tastes like a $60 matcha. So let us try it with milk. Gorgeous color, but doesn't always mean it's good. Yeah, very rich, almost like an emerald color. Let's give it a taste. I prefer it with the milk. Cuts a lot of that harsh flavor out for sure. I'm not loving this one, guys. I wanted to love it so badly. I was really excited about this, but I am not loving it. Kind of tastes like you ate some food and like the flavor is still in your mouth. Let me try it again like this.
There's a little extra.
It's just so not smooth. The grit, you can feel the grit. Yeah, let's try this again. It tastes like morning breath. Listen, I just want to tell you guys how it is because, you know, I spent $60 on this. Like, nobody sent this to me. So this is like, that's what I'm saying. It's disappointing when you spend a lot of money and then you get morning breath. But by far, I think the most disappointing part of it is that it's gritty. So this is going to be a no all around for me, but beautiful, beautiful branding. Like so, so cute. This is Anima Mundi. I am familiar with this brand. I think it's from Brooklyn. They sell a lot of supplements, and I think originally that was their forte. I think they have things like maca powder, ashwagandha, things like that. So very herbal, kind of apothecary vibes. And matcha, I think, is newer for them. This is $44, which comes out to $1 per gram. Looking at the color right now, it's definitely giving a little bit of that yellow kind of brown hint to it. It's almost like you changed the temperature of the photo and kind of made it a little warmer. But overall, it's not bad. It's giving me like a mid-tier color, if I had to say. But as we know, color is not everything. Actually smells quite nice. Probably the best smelling so far today. And we'll try it on its own. Very smooth on the mouth, which I really appreciate. Not nearly as much bitterness as like everything we've tried today, actually. This is quite nice, but does have quite an astringency to it. I am getting that deeply bitter, strong aftertaste at the end. Also got kind of like that green tea flavor versus matcha. If you don't know what I'm referring to, you can look at older videos, but it's not my favorite. Let's give it a try with some milk. Now you can really see more of that yellow tint coming up, especially as it mixes with the milk a little bit. It's kind of like an army green versus like a very emerald jade color. Yeah, this one's not really doing it for me. If I had to drink this as a latte, I could do it, but I probably wouldn't want to. Price range is pretty mid. Taste and flavor of this is pretty mid also, so I think that's kind of on par maybe. I think even if you were to make a mixed drink with this, the flavor of the matcha would kind of be overpowered quite quickly, which is very odd because alone it's quite unpleasant in the mouth. So I'm gonna say probably wouldn't drink this, probably wouldn't buy this. Would not recommend. This is Mighty Leaf Matcha. I've kind of been avoiding trying this one because I'm gonna be real, I've seen it quite often. The price is pretty low, and I think they're aiming to be a little bit more accessible. Like you can actually find this one in grocery stores, which I do think is a benefit that maybe not a lot of brands offer, but unfortunately at this point in the game still, I feel like most quality matcha brands are not sold in stores, at least grocery retailers like the big ones. Bonus points for being in stores. I know for a fact you can get it at Whole Foods. I want to say maybe Sprouts also. And today we got the stick pack version, but that was because it was cheaper and I didn't want as much of the matcha to go to waste, knowing that I probably would not like it. But we are keeping an open mind. This cost $12 for the box, which came out to 67 cents per gram and about $1 per stick pack. I'm not a big fan of stick packs in general usually. I think it's like excess packaging, and to be honest, making a matcha on the go is not really a thing. It's hard to do it well, but there's different things for everyone, and I'm sure some people love that. Right away, when you look at the color, not sure if you guys can see it on camera as well, but it's not great. When I see a matcha like this and we're doing a taste test, I'm usually like, oh no, I really don't want to try this. Smell, pretty mild. There's a little bit of that grassy flavor coming through, or grassy scent, I guess I should say. And I don't think this one is claiming to be ceremonial or anything like that. I think it's pretty honest about what it is, especially with the price. So I do appreciate that. If you're gonna sell something lower quality, sell it at a lower price, and let's give it a try. You know what? It's actually less offensive than some of the pricier ones that we've tried today. And I don't mean that it's good. It's honestly so mild in flavor that it's kind of like you're not getting much out of this. Crazy thing is, it's a lot less bitter than some of the other ones we've tried today. It's just missing that actual flavor of the matcha though. So it's kind of lacking flavor, if that makes sense. Feels watered down, tastes like there's a lot of water added, even though we've made all the matchas today the same way. Smoother on the mouth than whatever one that I tried just a few minutes ago, saying it was like super gritty and not feeling good on the mouth. It feels fine on the mouth texturally. There's just not much flavor there except for that bitter aftertaste. So yeah, I think if you're just looking for like a caffeine hit, this isn't bad. It's organic. Organic doesn't really mean too much though, which I've explained in older videos. But you know what's funny is immediately what came to mind was Tenzo matcha, and I think this is actually better tasting than Tenzo matcha. So I'm pleasantly surprised. Again, I'm not saying this is a great matcha, but like my expectations were here below the table, and it's not bad for what it is, okay? Let's try it with milk. This one is better than Shayna's Kitchen in my opinion. It's more palatable. Color's not great. It's kind of giving Starbucks or like maybe like a coffee bean color. Not great, but again, it's cheap. When it comes to matcha, usually you get what you pay for. Yeah, not really any flavor with the milk, which is what I expected. The bitterness, I'm telling you, is so much better than a lot of the other ones we've tried just before this. If you're buying it as like maybe a supplement or just for the caffeine, I would say not bad at all. If you're drinking this matcha hoping to enjoy good matcha and like for the flavor of it and because you love tea, probably gonna be disappointed. But at the same time, the price is so affordable that you're not really missing out on much by trying it. I do appreciate them also being in stores. Would I buy it? No, but on a case-by-case basis, it could be what you're looking for. Last but not least, we have Marukyu Koyamen. This is a Japanese brand. I actually bought this tin when I was last in Japan at the cutest little tea shop that specializes in like green tea. They had a lot of matcha. Marukyu Koyamen, they have a decaf matcha, which is one of the 2 I think available on the market. That isn't bad, but because it's decaf and that's the only one I've tried, usually it's a little bit more mild in flavor. Just like with coffee, it's kind of, you know, hard to maintain the flavor when it's decaf. So I'm really excited to try this one. This is the Unkaku blend, and the price is $24 or about 60 cents per gram. This color excited me, and I'm so happy we're finishing on what I think is going to be a high note, because as soon as I saw this poured into the glass, I was like, yes, please, this color is beautiful. Best color we've seen all day. I love that it's a Japanese owned brand and from Japan. You know, I think it's really important to support brands that are of the culture sometimes, because there's an expectation that they know their shit a little bit more and hopefully put out better stuff. So far, it seems that that will be the case with this one. It smells good. Slightly aromatic, not too fragrant, but very mild. I don't smell anything bitter or too grassy, which I'm really excited by. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this one, I think it might be okumidori, which is like a spinachy flavor. It's got like more of a chlorophyllic flavor. And it's just like a type of matcha and depends on where the region is. So that's something to keep in mind if you try this. It's got a hint of umami, hint of like that chlorophyll spinachy vibe. That's the best way I know how to describe it. Or maybe vegetal, I should say. This is common with okumidori teas, but it's not a bad thing. It's just kind of a matter of like preference. And like Ippodo, Marukyu Koyamen has a lot of different offerings when it comes to tea, I believe. So it's just the one that I happen to like pick up. What's amazing about this tea though is, first of all, completely smooth mouthfeel. No real bitterness. It's got like an umami aftertaste, but not a bitterness that like lingers in your mouth or makes it feel like dry and crazy. Yeah, it's smooth, it's flavorful. Just be aware, if you ever feel like matcha tastes kind of vegetal, maybe seaweed forward, this might not be the one for you. Quality wise, I can taste that it's the best that we've had all day. Like I said, $24, you can get a lot better than some of what's out there. Let us try it with milk. Gorgeous. I mean, it's very mellow once it's added to the milk. The beauty of it is that there's no crazy strong aftertaste, and that I think is what turns a lot of people off from matcha, but a good matcha is not too crazy bitter. This is great because it tastes like a true matcha and not like a green tea or jasmine tea like you'll sometimes taste with some lower quality matchas. This is the best that we've had all day. Would I buy it again? Yes, but I would probably try a different cultivar or variety of matcha, because I am personally not the biggest fan of okumidori and that vegetal flavor. A lot of matcha curry products taste similar to this, but with a worse aftertaste. taste, I would say, but they have a lot of that like vegetal flavor. So if you've had that before and you're into it, I think you'll like this a lot. Today's contenders were, they were not a lot of hits. I think this is the only one that I could recommend to somebody probably and feel good about. That's why I'm here, to try it so you don't have to. To finish out the video, we're gonna rank from worst to best. I think you're gonna be really surprised with some of these picks, but it's not really about the quality of the matcha always. It's also like the enjoyment of it, the price, like it's all relative here. So this is based on what we tried today. Unfortunately, in last place we have Shayna's Kitchen because this one was the most expensive and definitely the biggest letdown. I think out of all of them, it was the most unpleasant mouth experience and just really not the best tasting. If I had to drink any of them straight, I would really, really regret to have to drink this one. I think you're gonna be surprised with where I'm putting Mighty Leaf, but that is because for the price and also the flavor was least offensive. It was almost too mild in flavor, but at the same time, like that was much better than some of these very bitter experiences. So again, I'm not saying that this is like better than the Blue Bottle matcha quality, but like for what it is and the price, I enjoyed this one a lot more than all of these, which is very surprising. Matchaeologist, also not great. Blue Bottle, not terrible, but you know, it is what it is. I think it's supposed to be kind of like mid-tier, accessible, all of that. Anima Mundi I really did not enjoy. Did not really love Naoki matcha either, and obviously this one was probably the only one that I really enjoyed and felt good about paying for, the Marukyu Koyamen. So this is the final ranking for today relative to what we tried today. Let me know your thoughts if you've tried anything here on the table. If there's something that you love that I didn't love, we probably have different palates. And what's most important is that the matcha you buy is a matcha you enjoy, because there's no point in buying this matcha just because I think it's best or higher quality if you really enjoy the flavor of a cheaper one or a different one. If you have any requests for future matcha videos, leave them in the comments below. And in the meantime, if you haven't already downloaded the free matcha guide, click the link in the description box. It's a free guide. It's going to be updating it very soon with even more information, but it's literally got so much information there, especially if you're new to matcha. And we'll see you in another video. I really need a snack.